Hello, and again, I am Carolyn Cowan. I am a psychosexual and relationship therapist, and I'm also a trauma therapist. And I specialize in addiction, in anxiety, in pre and postnatal, a curious range of specializations, which actually are all very linked in many, many ways, more ways than you would think. And for the last, I'm not sure how many years, maybe 8 years, I have been running a 3-day shame workshop. I know that shame has come much more into common parlance because of the very fabulous Brené Brown, who approaches it through the lens of vulnerability. And I think that that's a great lens, but that's not the lens that I use. I work with shame on this 3-day workshop as a therapist, and very much looking at shame as being the internal sense that you are bad. So if I'm in a shame spiral, then my sensation of myself is that I'm bad. I'm bad. I fucked up. I should die. That's the bottom line. We go all the way down to that. Shame can come in very, very many ways. And for many of us, we're extremely vulnerable to the effects of shame, to being shamed. And the awful truth is that if you have been shamed, you probably will shame. So looking at that part of us that also uses shame as a weapon, because that's how we ended up being shamed ourselves, by people who were shamed. So we explore shame over 3 days. The first 2 days of the workshop they're intense. It's not fun. It's not lovely. It's not like doing the breath training, or it's intense. It's very intense. But here's the thing. You're not really invited to tell your story, but you're invited to understand what your story has, in inverted commas, done to you, what your story has done to how your brain works and how your nervous system works, particularly your vagus nerve. And so the first 2 days the first day is spent answering a series of questionnaires that help you to understand the breadth of shame in terms of your own experience, where you have possibly experienced it. And then on the second day, there's a ritual which allows you to literally put down your shame. And it's a mind-blowingly extraordinary experience. And then on day 3, you are all day looking at tools. You've come out of the darkness, but you're now looking at all the tools for recovery and all the different ways that you can support and hold yourself. So this workshop really is not for everyone. It's not just, come and have a really stressful workshop. You'll love it. If you know that you're being held up by your low self-esteem, if you know that you're being really triggered by the sense that you're bad, you are somewhere, you're faulty, there's something wrong with you, not in terms of an illness, but I mean in terms of your sense of yourself. When you get upset, when you get triggered, when you get hurt, you short circuit into wanting to really destroy yourself. You may well want to consider coming and joining me in November on this workshop. I've run it now probably 15 or 16 times over the 8 years, probably more, because I run it in lots of different countries. And honestly, hand on my heart, I can say that this workshop will change your life. It is an extraordinary thing, and it works very well in concert with the week-long addiction recovery training. The two things really create the map out of hell, actually. But to understand shame, to really seriously allow yourself to put down all of your triggers and to understand how you're triggered and how you can work with that. The 3-day shame workshop is a life-changing experience. It starts in November. I don't have the actual dates in front of me, but it is on my website, carolyncowan.com. I think if you really want to take a big step forward, it's a commitment to the self. It's a very ritualized way of exploring what's going on and how much you're holding on to. I would consider it the alchemy of turning poison into nectar. So do join me.